mean, smart for a drummer could mean able to spell own name, which is genius level for a bass player.
Truer words have never been spoken. Hey everybody, welcome to SMG Viewers Comments, my weekly show where I try and answer your comments, questions about recording and just general guitar and band stuff the best I can. So if you've got something you want to know, try and leave a comment below, leave me a question. If it's cool, I'll try and put it on the show. Just a heads up, we've only got a couple days left for the $97 sale on the SMG Savage Grooves pack, and that's 30 songs with multi-tracks and video. Sale ends Sunday night. I'll have more on that in a couple minutes. Anyway, let's get right to it.
Thank you, Glenn. You are doing good work. The fact that you are an influencer means many people will listen to you and you are telling them that software can get them great guitar tone. That means there's just that much more headroom for broke kids to expand their hobby or passion. I'm from more of a punk rock background myself, and you know that's good news for me too. I'm all about hearing previously unheard voices. It's good for people to hear from a working professional that there are high quality options for people who can't afford good analog gear.
Yeah, we're going through a bit of a renaissance right now when it comes to availability of awesome tones. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I love this stack of amps here. They're not going away anytime soon, but for the broke kid out there, it doesn't mean you have to have shit tone. I mean, like, the Ignite Emissary is free, it sounds great, and I just demoed the Aurora Rhino last week or a week and a half ago or something like that. And for $40, it certainly gives you an awful lot of capability. I know I would have killed to use something like that even back in 2005 when I was still scratching my head trying to figure out how to get great recorded guitar sounds for my clients. These days, it's just basically throw on a plug-in and a lot of the heavy lifting's already done. You make a few tweaks, away you go, move on. Worry about something else like getting a good performance out of your drummer, or hopefully your bass player gets dropped off by his mom in time to actually record, and maybe he restrung his bass at the same time. Point being, you don't have to drop a lot of money or put a lot of effort into getting a great recorded guitar sound these days. There are affordable options out there. Rhino's probably my number one choice for a great system. If you haven't checked it out already, try it out. Go grab the demo. It's gonna blow you away.
That tone sounds sick. This technique will definitely be very useful. It sounds like it has a similar effect that adding the hemp speakers did to your cab had on one of your recent videos.
You're referencing Tuesday's video of the Grindstein. Thanks very much for watching that as well. If you haven't seen that already, let's have the thumbnail up here. Sounds like shit. Yes, it does. But as I've learned, when you have an awesome tube amp type sound, if you mix in a little bit of shit on some extra tracks, it creates a larger than life sound. Go check that video out if you haven't. Christian Cole put that out. It's a software version of his Grindstein pedal, which is kind of like an HM2 pedal on hyper steroids. It's got a lot of capability, and it's a really good blend with the Rhino, which is absolutely freaking amazing. It let me get a mix like this. Yeah, pretty happy with how that one turned out, and that was done completely in software. Oh, and yeah, you mentioned the blend of the EVH and the hemp back. I've had a lot of people asking about impulse responses. I talked to the Slushing guys. They're like, hey, hold off on that until we actually get the speakers out the door. So yes, I have impulsed it. We're gonna have a bit more information on that in a minute as well. So those will be available on something coming out from Spectre Digital in the near future. It's gonna be really exciting. I know you guys are really gonna like what that's all about. Stay tuned for that one.
I've been doing this with my bass tones for a long time. While I can get a great tone with a dark glass or parallax, I love to double track and do a thin, dirty grind track underneath a cleaner, more full piano-like tone.
Hey, Alan, again, you're referencing the Grindstein demo, and that's totally cool. Yes, it probably would work on bass. I should have tried it out. Now I'm kind of kicking myself. As for your comment about Parallax, that's a great piece of software. But once again, I have to say, hey, we've had something cooking over at Spectre Digital for like the last year or so. It's getting very close to being finished, and I think you guys are really going to like what it does. It's kind of looking at things a little bit differently. I can't give you too many details at this point, but it is going to be freaking amazing on bass guitar. I know you're going to like it. Stay tuned.
Hey Glenn, on an unrelated subject, what do you think about DSD? Is it just an audiophile fad, or do you think everyone is going to stop using PCM someday? DSD is 1 bit and a sample rate in the millions, but they say it's low output, crummy sounding in the mid-range, and actually noisy on the high levels.
I'd be curious to know who they are. They say, I don't know. I checked out DSD at the AES convention. Now we're going with all the fucking acronyms. For those of you guys who don't know, DSD means direct stream digital. It's a different type of approach to a digital signal, and it sounds very close to how analog audio used to sound. I got a chance to check it out at the Audio Engineering Society convention there a couple years ago. Tascam had like a piece recorded with PCM and with DSD. And the DSD, honestly, sounded fucking incredible. The level of detail there was absolutely unreal. I don't know who's shitting all over it. You didn't say who they were, so I'm kind of curious. And if they can back their claims up at all, that's the other thing that seems to be in short supply. There's a lot of opinions and not a lot of evidence. I will say this, though. I have a meeting with the guys over at Merging Technologies coming up this week, and we're going to possibly put something of theirs on the show. It should be pretty freaking cool. And yes, it should be DSD capable. And I'm hoping to do a couple videos exploring that technology and seeing where it's going and if it's ever going to be worked into a practical digital audio workstation. I mean, like, it's really cool tech, but just because it's really cool tech doesn't mean it's going to capture, the cultural zeitgeist. I mean, like, the music business is littered with the carcasses of amazing technology that never went anywhere. Exhibit A, DAT tape. That was a great invention. It came out in the early 90s, and the record industry shit all over because they didn't want people making perfect digital copies of their product. Wow. That sure worked out well for them now, didn't it?
Glenn, you often make videos and suggestions about gear at an affordable price, but I'm curious, if money were no object and you could buy literally anything you wanted, is there something that you'd really want? Maybe a certain mic, amp, instrument, or maybe a whole console?
Dude, I gotta say, the one thing I don't need is more gear. I've just got gear everywhere here, and I've got really nice gear at this point, too. I mean, like, gorgeous amps, incredible preamps. Got the 1073 OPX back there, the Focusrite Red 16 line. I'm gonna do a long-term review on that in the near future. It's absolutely stellar. You guys aren't seeing this whole rack of gear I got over here with like 1176s and two very mute compressors. It's just, I think I'm all hooked up with gear. What I really need is space. What I need is a bigger space to work in because I'm just tripping all over the place. You're not seeing these 7 cabinets I have in the next room plus the full drum set. I am so out of space. It sucks. I want to build a bigger space, or I want to lease a building and build a studio in there or something. I'm still kind of weighing my options when it comes to that. I've got a few irons in the fire. Hopefully I'm going to be able to partner up with possibly an acoustic designer and do a series of videos and show you guys how to build a studio. I think that'd be really freaking cool. Once again, make sure you subscribe so you get updated on that, especially because I can show you guys how we do it in a large studio and how you can apply those principles to your own home setup so you don't drive your neighbors crazy and get yourself arrested for noise violations. All right, everybody, just a heads up. We've only got a couple days left to get in on the introductory price on the Savage Grooves Pack Ultra Edition. It's 30 songs that I've curated over the last couple of years. They're all about like 1 minute pieces of music that you can use and practice with and remix and do whatever the hell you want. There's 5 lessons in there for working with different plugin platforms, including using free plugins. And we just released the Ultra version, which includes all the video files as well. So if you've got a project you want to do and you want to demo something, the video files are all there and you can use it however the hell you want. They're all time aligned. They're all set up. All you got to do is drop them in place, drop your own mix on it, and you're good to go. You can use this to recreate the music any way you want. You can just take a drum beat and rewrite an entire song around it like Henning did with this clip. And that's what originally came out of this song here. So yeah, it all really depends on you, what you want to do with it. But bed tracks are there for you to use however the hell you want and let your own creativity run well. Once again, it's only $97. The price is going up to $147 at the end of Sunday night. Grab it while you can. Now back to the show.
Since cabinets and speakers make such a dramatic difference in the sound, could you talk us through what makes a good cab and speaker and give us some recommendations on a variety of price points? I play on a budget, so I'm using a Boss Katana Mark 250, so if I upgrade, I'd like to get something I will know will make a difference. Thank you, you fucking Glenn.
Oh, there's all kinds of options. I mean, like for budget, the Harley Benton 2x12 you really can't go wrong with because it comes loaded with a set of vintage 30s. Just make sure you get the one that's loaded with the vintage 30s. That's great. Zilla Cabs makes some absolutely amazing stuff. You don't have to go full 4x12 to get great results, but I would recommend getting something decent with either Celestion Vintage 30s or the new Hempbacks or the EVHs, or you can check out the new Eminence DV77 speaker, or even the WGS Veteran 30 and the Reapers. Those are absolutely great, and the new ones from Empyrean as well. Like I said at the beginning of the show, we are going through a bit of a renaissance when it comes to guitar gear, and when it comes to speakers, we've got some seriously amazing options. It's really easy to get off the vintage 30 bandwagon. All you got to do is open your eyes a little.
Hey Glenn, how about doing a video on tone wood? I don't mean guitars, I mean cabs. Diesel, for example, offers their cabinets either in birch plywood or in massive African oakum. Different manufacturers, of course, build their cabs differently. Mesa cab looks different on the inside than a Marshall, Orange, or Engel cab. Diesel offers a front and rear mounted variants, so we already know different construction types. Bracings inside the cab, or either being angled or straight, make it sound different, but what about the wood?
Well, I've already kind of did that there a couple weeks ago. If you check out my video, The Thing That Actually Matters with the Guitar Tone, where we take the same vintage 30 and plug it into a bunch of different cabinets. Did you miss that part? We take a late 90s vintage 30 and put it in my Engel cab, then we put it in a Mesa cab, and a Rev cab as well, I believe. And you can hear the differences that the tone is making. So the question has already been answered. Please fucking pay attention! I worked my ass off on that video. That took fucking forever. Hey Glenn, what do you think about this? Fucking I don't know. Watch the fucking video. I'll have a link in the description below just in case you fucking missed it. Now, the cabinet's gonna have a massive impact on how your guitar tone sounds because the cabinet is generating an acoustic signal, not an electric one. So it's taking that electric signal and converting it back into the real world. And how that thing resonates is gonna have a huge bearing on how your cabinet sounds. The wood types would be interesting. I'm gonna talk to my buddy Steve, see if he'd be down for either building a pair of 4x12s or a pair of 2x12s or something like that, just so we can try that out. We can take the same speakers, put them all in the different cabinets and see exactly what we get. I think that'd be interesting, especially if we build it from the same dimensions. If we go with different wood types, I'm not sure how much that would affect the tone. Something worth investigating anyway. In the meantime, go watch the fucking video.
Glenn, I assume you've seen the new GGD Studio Cabs Cali edition. Would love to see you do a review or knowing your opinion on plugins like this.
Oh, that's from Nolly. I'm sure it's absolutely amazing. The guy gets some great fucking tones. No argument there. I should really ask him if I can try it out at some point. That being said, here over at Spectre Digital, we just did 13 vintage 30s. And that's going to be coming out on something new later this year or early next year. Product from Spectre Digital will be completely exclusive to that. I think you guys are really going to like how that turned out and how that sounds. All I can say is we broke in my Neve 1073 OPX and the Dante system because we were going high resolution with that, and the impulses sound absolutely freaking amazing. It's probably the best work I've ever done, and I know you guys are really going to dig it. Once again, stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated whenever that software is ready to go.
Speaking of inexpensive mics, you did a demo a while back on the Slate mics. Sounded great, but I never really heard you talk about them again after that. Did you find out later that they had issues or just kind of forgotten?
I absolutely love the Slate mics. I wish I could use them more. I'm usually demoing other stuff, unfortunately, but I really think they're a great bang for the buck. I think the mic modeling is fantastic, and they sound pretty damn good on guitar cabs as well. And I should really do a breakdown on that at some point. Like we did the thing there last year where we had Cam Fleury playing, and we mic'd the whole thing up with Slate mics and then, used the different mic models and whatnot, and just showed how it even affected the spill patterns on the snare and the hi-hat and that kind of thing. And that was absolutely phenomenal. I will do a demo at some point on guitar cabs and just how versatile these mics are for that application as well, because I really think they're quite spectacular and kind of underrated in my opinion. They really punch way above their price point.
Glenn, any plans to release drums samples you can trigger with an electronic drum kit? Got a one-kit wonder pack from Get Good Drums that I use with my Roland. I would love an SMG pack. Please make it work in Contact if you do.
Funny you mentioned that. We've actually got a couple of those coming up. We've got 2 kits coming up. We were just up at Metalworks in Toronto last week. That's where Rush recorded. That's where Triumph recorded. Many great bands have come in and out of there. Even Guns N' Roses did part of Use Your Illusion in there. Absolutely phenomenal sounding drum room. I brought my pearls up there and we did this kit here, and we rented like 6 amazing snares, including Atomic Bell Brass from the 80s. So we've got that amazing Black Album snare. And we've got some other rarities as well. Want to thank my friend Jordan up at YC Drums for making that possible. He really hooked us up. And if this goes well, we're going to be doing a bunch of sets because I've come to realize that's pretty much what you guys are doing. A lot of you guys are writing music at your desktop, and having some options would be a cool thing because recording live drums, unfortunately for a lot of you guys, just is not an option. So, hey, might as well make the best product I possibly can to help you guys out. Hopefully you're going to dig where we're going with that. I'll keep you guys posted as it comes along, but the first contact kit actually shouldn't be that far off. And we're going to have all kinds of templates to work with various DAWs for it. So it'll take some of the guesswork out of mixing. I think you guys are really going to like where it's going. Now, for all you guys who are at home playing on electronic drum kits and you've got no other option, yes, the idea for this library is to make sure it's compatible with those type of setups. So keep your eyes peeled. This one's going to be pretty freaking cool when it finally comes out. Got all this amazing stuff on the go. We've got so many projects coming out. I think it's going to be an interesting fall and or new year. I'll keep you posted.
Glenn, have you ever tried putting IRs in series on the same signal? Does it work well?
No, it sounds like shit. It really sounds like shit. I mean, like that was one of the earliest mistakes I had with the 2 Notes Torpedo Live, actually. It had the IR already going on the unit, and then you plug it into a wall of sound and throw another IR on top of it. Sounds like absolute shit. The idea here is to quad track your rhythm guitars. That way you can have 2 with 1 IR and then the other 2 with another IR and get a blend. That's the smart way to do it. Don't do it in series because it sounds like shit.
Hey Glenn, you did the test for physical gear and you found that the speakers do the most to change tone. What about digital equipment with like amp sims and can sims and all that? Would it be the cab sims?
Yes, most definitely. Change up the impulse response. It could even be the same cab with a different mic. That's going to have a completely different effect on your tone. The trick is to experiment and find out what you like. Good luck, man.
Spectre Sound Studios, I just want to thank you for that free Zilla 2x1257 IR. I really like it. I replaced the rhythm guitar IR from Jens Bogren I was using for a song. Good stuff.
Whoa, don't tell Jens that. Seriously, love the guy. He does some absolutely incredible work. I'll take the compliment. Thank you very much. Glad you found it useful.
A little bit of a simple question, but a difficult answer. How do you deal with freezing cold hands/strings when you're playing in cold weather or cold clubs?
That's a fantastic question. Here's how you do it with cold weather. I remember we actually shot a music video outside there back in college in the winter. And I found after we played the song through a couple of times, our hands just kind of warmed up because we got the blood flowing. So as long as you don't have, freezing cold wind blowing at you, you should be okay. But if you're playing a cold club, I remember the guys in my band used to always complain, the guitar player and the bass player, my hands are cold, because you're playing in the middle of a Canadian winter and it's January and your hands are freaking cold and you want to make sure everything's warmed up. Here's what you do. Go into the club's bathroom and run your hands under warm water to bring them up to temperature. That works every single time.
Yo, Glenn, have you thought about checking out any of the amp sims from Audio Assault? They're much cheaper than Neural or Aurora DSP, but my God, they've created some amazing VSCs. Fuck you, Glenn, all the way from the United Kingdom.
Yes, I did a video on the RVXX last year and another one as well. I don't know, have you tried looking through my catalog? I literally have over 1,000 videos. Maybe can I try checking out a couple of playlists before asking? I don't know, what do you think?
So Pro Tools makes your ego larger and your wallet limper.
Pretty much.
Holy shit, the Sex Kittens made me realize how long I've been watching your channel, Glenn. I think I've been around since How to Get Your Band Ready for the Stage/studio. Hard to believe it's already been like 6 or 7 years.
Hey, Faded, thanks for chiming in. It's always great to hear from a longtime fan. Thank you so much for sticking with me through all this shit and watching all my videos. I really am truly grateful for that. I really do appreciate the loyalty. Thank you so much. That's just fucking mind-blowing that you've stuck around this fucking long. Hopefully you're gonna like what's coming out over the next year. We've still got my new drums tutorial series that I'm gonna be doing. That's probably way overdue. We've been shooting a lot of that for the last little bit. And I've got a very interesting one coming up next week about video production because turns out there's a need for it.
I will listen to anyone who disagrees with Glenn if they point me to their YouTube video demonstrating what they did to do so.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. All right, everybody, that's it for this week's episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks to all you guys who've been sticking around with the show for all these years. And thanks to everybody who's recently subscribed, everybody who's come in as of late. Welcome aboard. It's going to be an interesting ride. Might be a little bumpy at times, but it will be fun. Anyway, just one more reminder about the SMG Savage Grooves Pack Ultra Edition, which is only going for $97 till end of Sunday night, and then it goes back up to $147. It's 30 songs that are all about a minute long, full multi-tracks, 5 courses, plus video tracks. All you got to do is drop them in place and do something awesomely creative. Sale ends Sunday night, so get it while you can, because after that it's going back up to $147. And to quote the ever amazing Alan Rickman, buy Crapthar's hammer, the savings. One more time. One more time. Grab it while you can, because the sale ends. One more time. This is one more time. I got it. One more time. Fuck! I'm gonna get this right.